Today we're going to be working on a Volkswagen Polo. It has the check engine light on and sometimes the EPC light is also coming on. So we're going to start by plugging in our diagnostics. And the port is located down here by the pedals, right there. So we're going to have a scan. And I got the Volkswagen right up here. And let's do a health report. So, our health report is done, so let's have a look. Fuel trim, bank 1, system 2 lean, and altitude sensor, intake manifold pressure. Right. Brake electronics, yes. Right, let's have a look in the ECM. And let's check the data stream. Go by list. Let's have a look at intake manifold pressure. 2 of them. Also air temp. Right, let's have a look at them. So we're reading 1052 and 1056 millibars and 28-degree intake temp, which doesn't seem right because it's about -4 Celsius today. So it's way off, and the barometric pressure is off by about, I'd say, 30 millibars. Let's start the engine and have a look. Seems to be very slow to respond. Let's have a look at the graph. Right, let's give it a bit of gas. It's very slow to respond, it seems. And after you rev the engine, it does struggle a bit to recover itself down at idle speed. See how it drops. And we're going to start by removing the engine cover. A quick tip to check for any possible air leaks or vacuum leaks is to take some starting fluid and just spray it down on the hoses that you might suspect leaking. So after having sprayed down the intake and the relevant hoses with some starting fluid, we did not find any vacuum leaks because then we would have seen an increase in the engine speed. So, onto the map sensor. And the map sensor sits right down there. Take a small screwdriver, undo the plug. We're going to check the voltage to the sensor, so we're going to tap in on the positive and the negative cables, which in this case is brown and red-green, so pin 1 and 3. And we have connected up the alligator clips to the pins. So, let's connect these alligator clips to our multimeter. And then we're going to turn the ignition on and see what kind of reading we get. We're looking for 5 volts. And as we can see here, exactly 5 volts. Perfect. Next thing to do is to check the sensor while the engine is running. So we're going to stick pins from the back of the connector. Just like so. And here we're gonna want to see about 4 volts while we give it full throttle. Now we're going to check the resistance of this sensor, and we're going to check pin 1 and 2 on the left. So 3.28 kilo ohms, that seems about right when you compare it to our resistance curve for this specific sensor. Off camera, the engine speed started to fluctuate while there was a surging sound coming from the EGR valve. So here we're going to try to disconnect the valve and see what happens. And it's keeping a steady idle and a steady vacuum, so it's looking pretty good. So let's remove the EGR valve, and we're going to start by spraying it down with some penetrant fluid. Then let's remove the throttle plate. And it's a bit gunky, but it's alright. So let's remove the EGR pipe from the intake manifold. And then there's just this one bracket holding it all in place. And off comes the EGR valve. And then we're going to check pins 1 and 5 and measure the resistance across those. And we are looking for about 8 ohms, which we are not getting. I'm strongly suspecting this EGR valve to be faulty. Partly because it's a JP group, so it's a pirate part. And you can see that it has been glued around here, around the top. And if we take our thumb, it all comes off. So now we are done with our diagnostics. And our conclusion is that the EGR valve is faulty. It's a pirate part. It has been broken, the top had been glued back together. And it has some wonky resistance readings. So I'm going to ring the customer and just see what she wants to do. I mean, it's a shit box, so she might just want to run it until the next inspection and then just scrap it. We'll see. And that's it for today.